Finally, Xbox have announced that they're going to make an announcement.
It's about fucking time!
Well, here we go again, and we're doing another Britcast. I'm David Birch. I'm here as always at Remedy Live, and I'm joined as always by Mr. Luke Riley at UGamers. How you doing,
Dear
Luke?
one and all.
Yeah, it's all good, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Well, for someone, it is.
Very, very good day. Yeah, very good day. Yeah, Luke, did I mention that I got tickets to go and see the Avengers at the IMAX that was immediately followed by Iron Man 3?
I just received a tweet about it, and it's like kind of put us in a stupid depression.
Yeah, I'm glad that's happened because that is such a good film.
But it was nice in the IMAX to see those two films back to back.
I know, back to back as well. It's the first time I've been in the cinema for nearly 5 hours and not moved to take a piss at any point, which is quite a triumphant thing. You could tell I was like glued there to see that. It was pretty impressive. And I will say to anybody listening to this, Luke has made me swear that it will be spoiler free.
Yes, indeed, it will be.
If I was to tell anybody what happens at the end of that, damn. But anyway, yeah, I won't go there. But yeah, very, very good film.
Very, very good, very, very good film. I do want to ask actually some spoiler-free questions. The one thing I'm interested to know, and I've been excited about it, or him, since I knew he was going to be in it. Ben Kingsley's the villain. What's he like? And is he in it enough to enjoy? Is he in it enough to enjoy?
He definitely challenges the arrogance of Tony Stark. In such a good way. The film does a good job of sort of removing Iron Man just enough away from the group of Avengers to put him in his own storyline. It separates it well. That's the best I can sort of say. You'll have to see how it sort of how that film pans out, but it's so good, so good.
Is there any bit? The Avengers for me was just never once did I think, oh, when's the next bit going to happen? It just flowed nicely and you just enjoy the whole thing. Is that what Iron Man 3 is like?
Yeah, there are points where it's obviously there's less action, there's more thinking stuff going on with like character development, but it doesn't break how the film flows. It all works very, very well. You know, this is Robert Downey Jr. in his third and potential last part, from what rumours are saying about him not reprising any roles or anything like that.
He signed up for Avengers 2, and then it's out in the air after that, but I think he would. There's no one else who can play Tony Stark, pretty much.
I think it might just come down to financials. I mean, rumour has it that he picked up near enough $50 million for starring in Avengers. You know, he's on a profit share, and that you know, if you look at it, if it's incremental, where those percentages go up for every appearance, he's going to cost as much to pay as it will to make a film. But I think he's worth it anyway.
Well, it's him as Tony Stark in the first Iron Man film, which to be fair was a risk, because he had no idea how it was going to take. He's kind of taken it by the horns, and it's him that's fueled the Avengers. If Iron Man 1 didn't, if Iron Man wasn't received as well as it was, then we wouldn't have the Avengers, I don't think.
No. It's very good. I was just thinking about the film then. I was just sort of drifted off while you were talking. I was just thinking the action. I will say that I'd say some of the action sequences in Iron Man 3 kind of sort of top the Avengers, if that makes sense to anyone. When they've seen it, they'll probably want more. It's good. It's very good. I was very impressed. I was sat there just thinking, this film is fucking brilliant. I'm so good. Did I mention as well that, you know, the people that sent me the tickets for that, my friends in the PR world, they've also sent me some preview tickets for Star Trek Into Darkness, which I'll be seeing.
Well, it's maybe the last podcast we do together, Dave.
Will it be? Did I mention that that's only in a couple of days' time?
Yes,
Tuesday.
You don't even mention I've been anticipating Star Trek for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a big Star Trek fan, but on Tuesday next week I get to see the first Star Trek film in the IMAX. It will immediately be followed by the new Star Trek Into Darkness IMAX as well.
Enjoy it, Dave. Enjoy it.
Is that it? Have you just closed the podcast? Britcast is gone.
It is indeed. I'm happy for you. My own depressed like kind of twisted. I don't want to talk to you way. Even fair.
I've just gone on your hit list for the day that the world ends, and you're going to go charging around on your homicidal rage.
Fez, waistcoat, monocle, pipe, and not a minigun because that's too American. Kind of a World
There's
War
nothing.
One.
There's nothing wrong with being American. There's nothing wrong with miniguns either.
Just a pistol will do. World War One dueling pistol.
Because speaking of miniguns, that's the strangest segue we've ever had. But that nicely ties into Injustice.
From Marvel to DC, here we go.
I know, yeah. What a link. That segue is legendary. They'll talk about that for ages past. But yeah, we both been playing Injustice, and we both completed the story. We both absolutely hammered that game out. What did you think then, Luke? You go for your audio review. Go for it.
My thoughts on Injustice are that it's an enjoyable game. It's an enjoyable superhero story from a comic book standpoint, but it's not. I can see what they were doing, but it's not as good as Mortal Kombat. I just thought eventually the story. I enjoyed the story. If it wasn't for the story, I wouldn't enjoy the game as much. But the combat, it's eventually, no matter what character you have, it's like, oh well, I know down and back and Y will do this for a character, and then you just kind of, it becomes muscle memory, and you know that no matter what the character, there's a certain combination that'll do a move for a character.
One will either do forward, back, and a button, or down and back and a button. Yeah. That's one thing I noticed as well. I mean, I did enjoy it myself, but I think it was because there was a lack of finishers, and I got a bit pissed off eventually with the super moves. You know, those.
It's weird and strangely unbalanced. There was the same amount of health taken off, depending on the character and who that was against. But I know what you mean. There wasn't. If it was like 2 or 3 super moves per character, it would have been exciting. But there was the same move for every character.
Yeah, same amount of power, same amount of crisis. And I know I played a lot of a lot of versus over the weekend when we first got it. I put it in front of a few of the guys, and we sat there and hammered it through. And I will say Warlock's probably better at that game than I am. But that's one thing we were saying. Come Sunday, we were just like, okay, you saw Superman's uppercut, through into space, and bang, he hits them down. And that just became a bit repetitive. I mean, granted, we learned to block them more and found the counters, with the frame counts and all that type of stuff. But when it came to the end of the round, if you blocked that super move, inevitably the power bar was depleted. They'd have just enough power left because you thought you were going to kill them. So, the finishing move could be a low kick to the ankle, and they would do this spectacular falling over. I think it missed that hardcore, the fatalities.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, you'd done a super move, and then they would fall to the ground off the super move, and they would get back up and then do that thing where they go back down again.
Yeah, exactly. It was all right. I've still got it, and I'm still going to be playing it through because there's that Star Labs bit. I'd have to give it another bash, but I don't know. I definitely prefer the Mortal Kombat series.
I've just watched as well, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, the animated movie. It is good to have here. Almost never send. It is good to have Kevin Conroy doing Batman still, especially seeing as though he's on the Arkham games. And there's a new one coming this year, Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
Black Mask as the villain.
You're looking forward to that one. It's it's a prequel to the others, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's when Batman kind of met the criminals, kind of first time met them. And if you're in Arkham City, the Penguin had a monocle, and it wasn't really a monocle; it was a bottom of a beer bottle that had been smashed into his eye, which looked like the monocle from like the 1960s Batman. But the screenshot of Penguin, and he's without that. So I'm wondering if it's gonna, if that's gonna happen in this game. It's either gonna be Batman or one of the other villains. I know Deadshot's in it, and so's the main villain is Black Mask. And there's talk of this game being when Batman met Joker for the first time in the Arkham universe.
That could be quite interesting.
I'm hoping Mark Hamill's in it.
But it's not rock steady though.
I know. I look at screenshots, it looks promising, but and it's not Paul Dini who wrote the animated series and the first 2 games. He's not involved in this either, which is a bit strange.
Yeah, I wonder. Well, I know I can't remember who said they've taken over, but I know that they said one thing about the fighting mechanic that's not broken, so they're not going to really fiddle and fix and play around with that too much.
Definitely not.
Which is good, because that is one of the best bits about it. I always liked it on New Game Plus mode where you didn't get the prompts when somebody was about to do something to hit the counter. Yeah, that it did. I made my second playthrough a lot harder, but a lot more interesting. It didn't make the enemies weren't any tougher. It didn't seem. It was just that it just took away that sort of little prompt, which was good. And I mean, I'll play it. I like the other two games so much. I know I'll be very impressed to see what they do with that. But all in all, Injustice, you recommend that to our listeners? Because one thing I will say is that there aren't many people. I've got quite an extensive friends list. There's not many people playing that game.
No, that's weird. And you think it's the first game where you can kind of do the battles you've wanted to see on film, and seeing as though Justice League film seems far away, it's the only time you can actually have. While we'll have the Dark Knight Returns, it's the only time you can have a game what looks good and plays well, where you've got like Batman versus Superman or that kind of fantasy battle people want to see.
But nobody seems to be buying it.
No. Games in general, the big games that are setting me big, like, they just own them and do, like God of War Ascension. That wasn't even, there was absolutely no fanfare for that. God of War 3, there was the big, it's the end of the thing. God of War Ascension is the next big exclusive God of War title for the PS3, yet there was no fanfare for it, which was a bit strange.
The game wasn't that good though, in all honesty. I mean, there were some bits that were broken. They had to patch parts. Is that infamous bit on the lift? What the fuck? Lift. Yes. Where people, it's just a bit ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
And some hardcore gamers that I know said that that's just a bit like, what was going on? And then when I got to it myself, it was like, yeah, it's meant to be a fight to the, everything's a fight to the bitter end. But that whole bit was just knife edge. It wasn't bit. I mean, there was parts of God of War 3 that I didn't like myself. So I think when it came to the formula, to see it again, I wasn't really that excited to be playing it through. And the multiplayer was take it or leave it as far as I was concerned. It was, for me, it was revealed originally, wasn't it, as a multiplayer game, essentially. And then the multiplayer, I didn't find that good.
Well, it seemed like it was shoehorned in, but they promoted it to make it seem bigger than it was.
Yeah. Speaking of things that have been promoted bigger than there was, gaming world was the Star Trek the game. That's Close Encounters, but it's
indeed.
Enough.
I'm thinking of the stupid that end credit song after Spock goes set warp.
Right. Okay. And I think it was Kurt spoke before the strange music that you just tried to recreate.
I'm crossing the metaphorical streams that are nerddom.
Yeah. That's it.
That's a sentence and a half.
Don't cross the streams, man. Don't cross the streams. Yeah, but start with the game. Back to the point. In fact, yeah, that game actually looked quite good. To be fair, it's strange because it was much of my partner, the lovely Sophie, that was interested in that game being a co-op formula. Yeah. But we got sent one copy early to have a little playthrough, and well, I can say that game is
Well.
Yeah. Like I said, my review would be, I hope the film's better. Because some of the climbing mechanics felt a bit not quite as good as Uncharted, when you're jumping around and climbing over everything. I found that the Starfleet tricorder is fucking handy in a pinch in any situation, because if you just look at something and press X on the Xbox pad, it just solves the problem.
Right.
Pressing Y apparently tells Spock to run into the walls repeatedly, like he's jogging on the spot.
Logical.
It is built for co-op, I'm telling you that now. There are certain parts when the shit is flying on a harder difficulty where you are screwing at Spock for being completely illogical. Because you're like, why are you dancing in the corner when you should be unleashing with that phaser?
Is he just going against the wall going, fascinating.
Running on the spot like a nutter. That's what I found that tends to happen. But the game visually looks alright for an Xbox game. Yeah. I know obviously Xbox is creaking. We'll get onto Xbox and what they're doing in the future soon. But it's alright, the space combat stuff is on rails. You do get to fly the Enterprise and shoot the shit out of lots of stuff. And then you can press like this button and it sort of gives you like this outward shot, a very cinematic look of the Enterprise firing all phasers and photon torpedoes like a mad person. And it looks very visually good, and you get to control photon torpedoes and fly them into stuff and blow shit off. But it's good, but fuck me, there's Gorn enemy that you got to go up against on several occasions. The green lizard-like people. There are a lot of them, and you get one shuttle that docks. There's a shuttle coming in, Captain. Let's take them. I'm thinking they must have been, you know what I mean? It's a joke. How many Gorn can you fit into this one container ship?
Is it like the old fight when Shatner fights the Gorn, or is it all updated, and is it really quick-faced?
It's quick. These things are just like giant lizard-looking dudes. that can really move around. They're not like in big stiff cardboard cutout suits where they're really
Oh man, they should
slow
have at least had like
punchers.
a part where you approach it and you start doing that fight.
Yeah, well, I'm only a couple of hours away from the end of that game now, but I can safely say that they haven't done that. I mean, the music's all good and it's all very built up, and you can walk around the Enterprise and talk to people, even after you've talked to them once. They pretty much run out of things to say. The shooting mechanic is very like Mass Effect, kind of Gears of War, is the way I'm looking at it. The camaraderie between Spock and Kirk is all right at times, but then it just starts to feel a little bit cheap. It's not a terrible game, you know what I mean? It's like a solid 7, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
And I dare say that there'll be a patch out there to solve a few of the issues. But it sort of pulls you out of the game when you just turn around and you wonder why you're the only gun firing and rapidly running out of bullets, and Spock's jogging on the spot staring at a wall. I mean, really, that's what's happening. But it's good. Thank you to our lovely little PR supporters that we have for sending me that game early. But I'm actually going to say, it ain't that good. Send me something better. That's what I say.
Send it back saying not this address on the front of the box.
Yeah, I should try that. I'm sure they'll love us.
With the game opened and played. Not this address.
Yeah, our humble little podcast here, we start getting freebies coming through, and we're just saying thanks, but no thanks. That's good. But still, yeah, because did I mention, Luke, I'm going to go and see that film a few days early next week.
She did twat. Anyway, next segment. What?
Yeah, so to jump subjects. Should we get over to the fact that now Microsoft has officially said that they're going to be revealing their next box on the 21st of May?
Indeed, and it's only, 2-3 weeks before E3?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a bit of a prick tease, and then it's going to be like the full event on the E3.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote a couple of things down. Well, a couple of things. There was a shitload of things to write down. Because there are a number of websites out there that just trawl every other website for information. Now, I'd like to read off a couple of bits here. There's a certain website which culminates a lot of news together. It's only got 3 letters in its existence, and it's not IGN. And several of the stories they have here. 1. There are 17 stories stating that the Xbox will be always on, that they have had thousands and thousands of hits on and everybody's reading it. There are 15 stories saying that the Xbox will not be always on and has thousands and thousands of hits on it. They widely promoted that somebody on there as well, they pulled up a site saying Halo 5 will be coming to the next Xbox. Did you think that was going to happen? Did you think that Halo 5 was going to come to the next Xbox?
Don't say it's this one. This year.
No, I'm just saying there was actually a story.
That's my impression that would happen. That the Halo 4 will be the Halo swan song of this gen, then they're going to go Halo 5 in your face for the Xbox.
But it actually states here, there's a story detailing, admittedly it's an older story now, saying how Halo 5 will be on the next Xbox within 18 months to 2 years of launch. As I live and breathe, I was always expecting that to happen.
Have you advanced 50 years in the past 10 seconds? As I live and breathe.
It's all these type of things. And there's another thing as well that states that Forza 5 will be potentially a launch game. We know Forza's probably going to be in the launch window, let's face it. Yes. Those guys are going to want to detail the lovely graphics that new console can do with a nice driving game with perfect looking models of cars. We know that one. What was the other thing here as well? There's a conflicting story about the always online side of things of Microsoft, the next Microsoft Xbox, saying that the current Xbox is always online. And there was a big speech about a certain person saying about your current Xbox is always online. Every time you turn it on, it auto connects to Xbox Live. Can I just point out to people listening here that didn't know this already? Sorry if I'm covering our ground, but always on means that games will be like DRM.
You'll have to have online connections to play it, and if that connection cuts out for a millisecond, which I know PC games have had problems with, the game will stop and you'll be kicked from the game.
But it also states here that Microsoft will be able to the next Xbox will be able to stay connected for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes in the effort to regain connection for seamless gameplay to the servers. Now that alarms me because they're already planning for when things go tits. Now,
what if it's always looking for a connection and then you're 5 minutes behind the time you have to like save your game. So then when it's connected, when it disconnects, it's already been 3 minutes while it's been without connection. So you're screwed either way.
Mhm.
And them planning for what's going on. It's like, and that's why it's coming to Earth. Let's fire a nuke at it. Oh, if it all goes tits up, we're fucked. Like that's the first comment the press conference says.
You're at the climactic battle of Halo 5, the chief crawling with his armour smouldering and burning from these battles to press the button to detonate the nuke to kill the bad guys once and for all. Connection failed. I'd go nuts. I would go mad. But still, it's not a good idea. This always on. I know we've talked about it a lot in the show and stuff like that. And we mentioned it when we had Shane on the other week. But if it is an always on connection, it's a DRM base. You'll buy a game. It will be a boot disc. Let's face it, then. There goes the used game market. No matter what people think, if you've got an ounce of sense of any type of technological expertise, not saying I have, but I have logic and I have people that could advise us here at Britcast of certain stuff, that game will be just like watermark, like they say, that will be classed as a boot disc, like the old PC codes that you needed that had to accompany a disc. That's really what it is. And with the supposedly running on Windows 8 as well, that's a function which is easily transferable into an operating system. It isn't a big deal for them. So it means that that'll be the eliminating used games. Always online will mean it'll be a DRM based thing. So if there is a problem with the servers, and let's be honest, how many times have you tried to log on a game and the multiplayer on launch day has been shit, it's been choppy, the servers have been overloaded, all this, that and everything else. So you go, oh, balls this, I'm going to play the single player for a bit then.
And what about Xbox Live maintenance? If you want to be always online, you can't just play the single player because you're not online. Play the single player game you want to play.
Exactly, and that's another thing as well, server maintenance, like you say, like, there'll be a lot more server maintenance going on. Because when that console's first launched, it's got to cache out the pages, it's got to cache out all the servers to make them faster. So there could be potential problems there. But what then? I've read something as well today saying that there are going to be 17 games announced. We've already said Halo 5 and Forza 5. Go on, pick a couple of others, see if you can think of what they'll be.
Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty,
Call
just sequels pretty much to any game that's out now. That is a sequel. Gears of War,
Call of Chav 43.
Call of Chav 43.
Yeah. A game as well that I'm actually saying, like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but if I hear one person that plays Call of Duty only, year on, year out, and says, this is going to be the best one yet, and tries to convince me that there is any fucking difference to the mechanics of that game, I am not going to speak to them anymore. I'm going to delete them off Twitter.
Was that you cracking your knuckles or dropping your bullets? Right,
I was snapping a pen in half. That's what I was doing. I was snapping a pen in half under pro. Exactly. I just fed up of hearing it. I am. I understand about annual sport iterations and things, but I'm fed up of hearing about the Call of Duty child. If people want to play it, that's fine. I don't consider it a hardcore game.
No.
And another thing I will say about the ranking system on that, listening to school children, and when I say school children, I mean grown men that I work with, going on about 10th prestige as if they've lost their virginity. If I was to sit down with that game on and off over the year, I could get to 10th prestige as well. It's nothing to do with a rank or a skill setting or anything like that. It's just perseverance, and that's how your rank goes up.
Yes.
It's the same as every other game.
It basically highlights the lack of life you have.
Precisely. I mean, Christ, people could say that about us, but shit, I'm pretty sure we're doing well with this.
You spent time doing something that didn't advance your progression in life at all towards what you want to achieve.
People could say the same about us, but we can just go kind of like, fuck you, we're going to LA, I don't know, expenses paid.
Boom!
Exactly. Sorry, we're just rubbing that one out there. But that's what we can do. And did I mention the free tickets I've been getting sent as well, Luke, where I saw Iron Man 3 earlier on today before we recorded, and Star Trek a little bit early.
I now want to just like go over to my bed where my sniper rifle case is, and I'm gonna set up my iron cannon. Just consider the options.
Yes. Precisely the point. It's alright, I'm on a bit of a gripe and a rant today because I've had some really stupid conversations. Yes, it might be an element of nerdage because we do know a lot about what's going on in the game industry, and we have got quite a good contact list now of people we can sort of reach out to that are well into touch. But I'm really done now. Microsoft.
What's the conversations you've been having?
Just stupid ones about games and stuff like that. Just really, really stupid games. Like, people talking about just generally the graphics need to be superb on these new consoles. And I was like, yeah, but the games need to be good. Yeah, but if it looks photo-real, I don't mind. I'll be able to walk around. I was like, shut up. You know what I mean? The game
We're excited for Unreal games.
Exactly. If you want a photo-real game that ain't that good, your life's pretty boring. So just take a walk down the street. Do you know what I mean?
Up
Other than
and
exactly, take a walk. Okay. Yeah, I had a rampage today, Anna.
shouldn't
Few. It's been like this. The other week I just fell out with gaming completely. Didn't want to play any games no more.
what like a pet lib? Oh,
Exactly. I don't know what's going on. And then today I just said a couple of things, but the Call of Duty one, because of course Tesco's in the UK announced that Call of Chav 43 Ghosts. They outed it, haven't they? It's always fucking leaked around this time of year anyway.
it isn't a real title, is it?
Call of Chav 43.
No. And Ghosts?
Yeah, it is Call of Duty Ghosts.
Is it really?
Yeah,
The guest star on Luigi.
that's it. It's Luigi's year. Luigi's back, and he's going to jump on some heads. That's going to be a kill streak.
An R-rated Luigi ripping heads off people.
Yeah, with or sucking them off with a vacuum cleaner, not any other part of his body. But yeah,
Dyson.
yeah. Just been on a bit of a rant in general. So you glad, Luke, that they're finally talking about Xbox? Not that we didn't know one was coming anyway, but now they're actually
mentioned. Oh, surprise! Sorry.
Quelle surprise!
I am. I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I don't know. Are we gonna get some kind of? Is it going to be like, oh, this is what's going to happen, and then is it going to be your Xbox connected to Twitter, and then just half an hour of that talk, and then your Xbox is connected to Facebook, and you can print a screenshot of the game while sharing the game with your friends while your game plays the game for you, and then you splooge over achievements you didn't even get. Is that what we're going to get for Trove on the Tuesday, 21st from here?
It could be, or I secretly think that because of these developers on board saying that the next consoles are going to be so friendly for developers, it means that realistically Microsoft are going to say the same type of things and show the same type of fancy videos that Sony did. They're going to say that they're dedicated to gamers as well as entertainment. There'll be a couple of features that differentiate between the PS4 and the Xbox that will probably, after a little bit of digging around, we'll all know before going into E3 that PlayStation does that little bit different, Xbox does that little bit different, and realistically what your console you're going to buy is going to come down to one group of people are going to look at price, the other group of people are going to look at their IPs if they're only buying one machine. There'll be fanboys from Microsoft saying that Sony got wind of all their ideas and that's why the PS4 does pretty much the same things. There'll be Sony fanboys going, well, Microsoft didn't announce for 3 months because they were copying everything that Sony did, and then they get bitch slapped because
you know what it is?
Microsoft spent $200 million on R&D for just what the thing will look like and decide everything in 3 months since February. No.
Well, no.
You know what I mean?
No.
Just simple as no. When Microsoft announced what their console can do, if it's similar to Sony, if you know anybody that's a Sony fan, go, oh, Microsoft just copied Sony. Just slap them across. In fact,
no. If you know someone who is a Sony fanboy, say that to say what says, oh, Sony copied Microsoft, and watch their face melt because Microsoft. I don't know why these people leap up on the defense of gamer consoles like it's their mission in life, like they're like a religious person but for a game and the console is their church. It's like you dare offend the console, die, heathen, and then they like stab you with a controller.
Yeah, exactly. When I sort of look around my lounge everywhere I'm recording this at the moment, I have every possible piece of kit in the gaming industry which is up to date at this moment in time.
So speaking of, why would you limit yourself to one? Why wouldn't you not want to explore the maximum that the gaming, that not just a console, that if you like gaming, why wouldn't you want to see what's on offer in gaming in terms of handheld and all the consoles?
Yeah.
I'll be definitely getting a Wii U as soon as he announces Zelda. I'll be on that because I want.
Which Zelda? Wind Waker, the game you've already played.
No, there's that tech demo that was seen. Is it going to be a game?
It's a tech demo.
It's a game, isn't it?
It's a tech demo.
Game.
It's the year of Luigi, isn't it? That's what Iwata said. It's the year of Luigi. Brilliant. Okay. So basically, all they've done is they've just got Mario, made him a bit taller, and he wears green. That's all they've done, isn't it? And they're like, fucking hell, the fans won't notice.
I do want to Wii though, because I miss my Nintendo. Because Nintendo was my console for all the way to the GameCube, and then I had a PS2 for a week, and then got an Xbox.
My Wii U is just for Monster Hunter.
Oh, so game's so good.
It is good as well, and it's good the way that it can take the 3DS and pretend to be doing some work, and just sit at my desk and then just transfer the save file back. It's really good.
But I don't know why fanboys are just The scene on Braveheart where they're standing on a field and show dicks at each other.
Yeah, and to anybody that jumps out and buys the first one that comes out and then buys the second one that immediately comes out, realises that the majority of their friends have only bought one machine. All you're going to realise is in a couple of months after you've done all that frivolous spending of over £1,000 and buying 2 consoles, that you're going to go, shit, the one that I never play has dropped in price by half. That's what's going to happen.
I'm gonna get one, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna just see what happens, see what the reaction is. I wonder if that guy in the funny hat will go to the front of the queue again, then get one and smash it in front of everyone who's waiting to buy one.
What?
Have you seen that? The video when the PS3 first came on sale, there was a guy who wore a big purple, what can be described as a pimp hat. Was the first person to buy a PS3 in the queue at that particular store, and went outside in front of everyone who'd spent a night waiting to get the console they've been waiting years for. He smashed it. Smashed it.
Really?
Yes. He paid $600 to smash a console, not because he wanted to smash a console, because he knew. I think it's hilarious, but he knew that the fanboys in the queue would probably cry tears of like X and squares and circles and triangles.
They only had one, and this is it. Boom.
Yes. Can you imagine? This is the only one. Everyone cheers.
Yeah, I mean, I've pulled a few strings anyway. There's a couple of one of the companies we work through that we go to a lot of our play events with and stuff like that. That link us in with some of the developers around here. I've already pulled my ticket for number 1 in the queue whenever the launch is. Can you believe that? I would go and do such a thing.
No, not at all, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you would get tickets to something early, or
like Iron Man 3 and
yes,
Star Trek.
and Star Trek, and probably Man of Steel, and The Hobbit, probably.
No, I might have to push on the Man of Steel. I forgot about that one. I'll have to ask our contacts over there. Oh well.
Yes, hard life.
We'll do as well. Yeah, that's it. But no, I've already supported things. I was like, listen, I says, you know that I do a bit of the PR work and stuff like that and promote a few things for you and publish it and bring you extra people. I was like, so when the console's launched, I was like, so do you mind if I come in and like we do a Britcast live from the launch? I was like, as long as I get to buy mine first and you do realise at 1 minute past 12, I'm going to be like, bye, and gone.
Oh, thanks for this, bye. No, that was Britcast live.
In the Britcast limo.
Yeah.
We've got a Britcast limo that looks like Austin Powers' Jaguar.
It is my dream to have a Britcast helicopter. The Britcopter.
The Britcop. The Brit Chopper.
We'll just basically take the Owl theme tune, play it out of speakers, and I'll just land. I'd be so good if I was in a helicopter and I landed at a press event with the Owl theme tune, landing a helicopter outside the show. That's like Iron Man when he flies down in the Avengers in Germany to fight Loki.
The problem is you'd roll out the side of that. The problem is you'll roll out the side of that helicopter wearing a flat cap and smoking a pipe with a monocle.
Waistcoat, Deerstalker.
Sorry.
Pocket watch and cap. And pipe, even.
That's one. I'd have the Britcast limo tuned up like the limo out of 2012, the film, because that limo is epic. Have you ever seen that?
What limo?
In 2012, the film.
Oh, yes. It's very good.
When he just gets out of LA when the whole city's falling apart, he is flying in that car. As easy as a V12 engine.
In what looks like a video game intro, the whole film.
Mm-hmm. How the hell did we get onto that?
I don't know, limos and airwolf and helicopters and press events.
And sort of like pushing into queues and stuff like that. Yep. Yeah, that's it. See, I've completely lost the thread now of what we were talking about. We were sort of like griping about Microsoft's launch. I'm just glad they're doing it. And now the fight can really get started.
I'm not even going to take part in the fight. I'm looking forward to seeing the flames of the fight.
No, it's got to stir the pot every now and again. It's going to make good.
I'll stir the pot. I will stir the pot because I like stirring the pot. I like people getting antsy and RC over something that's really not really that important.
Yeah, I mean, there's some obvious things. I mean, I think what we'll cover in the next show, because we're going to go. Oh, that's one thing we can say to our listeners. We're going to go and record a Britcast immediately after the live stream for Microsoft's announcement goes out. So we're going to ride the coattails of that furor on Twitter and potentially Facebook if we ever get the page launched on there, Luke. And yeah, you got to do that still. And we shall ride the coattails of that and go and put a show out immediately after.
On the day, so it's English is not my first language. It's Klingon. 6 p.m.
You are from Sunderland, though. Remember?
Indeed, it's probably Klingon. Everyone walks around going. Anyway, is what they do on an evening after they have their, I don't know what the tramps drink.
After 3 crates of Nuki Brown Ale.
God knows what. Ugh.
Yeah.
Although saying that, I do like Guinness. Oh, Guinness. There are other alcohol beverages available.
Mm.
No, but I am looking forward to doing the live podcast after the press event has occurred.
But it's not live. We're going to record it because I suspect, as usual, we might have to make a few edits.
Well, yes, I meant we're going to watch the press conference live because that just would make sense for everyone.
Because we did have an idea about recording one live, but then we realised it was just going to be us sat in silence, just broadcasting exactly what they're saying.
The odd, interesting.
Yeah, interesting, and some interesting
Fuck.
points and stuff like that. Feeding my young daughter and stuff, changing nappies. But then we thought, no, you know what? We'll watch it, set some time aside immediately afterwards, record like a good chunk of a show for people to listen to in case they missed it as well. There's always that. We'll tweet it to death. And that's what we're going to do. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad they've announced it anyway, because like I said, the fight, like you want to stay out the fight, but I want to see how Sony and Microsoft go into E3 swinging, because this is the biggest one in nearly a decade.
Think about it as well. Jesus Christ. I remember like going into the shop in the high street and going with my friend who got the first Xbox on the launch day, and that was March of 2000. No, it was November 2001. It's been 12 and a half years. Oh my god.
Yeah, 12 and a half years, really?
Since the first Xbox.
Oh, the original one. I was going to say.
No. Because I remember getting that. Like, that was my first. I had a GameCube because I thought, oh, well, I like this game. But getting the Xbox One was my first kind of, games. This is where it's at. Because you've seen Halo 1, the first time I played that, I was like, what?
Quite excited about that one. It's going to be the launch games. I mean, it'll be cracking if they actually launch and they go, you know what, here's Halo 5. I'll be like, fucking hell, that's it. I'm buying you first then.
Imagine how good though the music was going to sound. And it's going to look amazing, but the game has to be good. It has to be good.
Yeah.
It can't be longer than 4 hours. Halo 4 hours, it should have been called.
Yeah, fair enough. I just enjoyed the game. He's playing under Legendary with like co-op with boys and stuff like that, like messing around with it. That's what we all did. That's why it was fun. But if they launch, I mean, for all intents and purposes, we're going to be getting probably both platforms anyway, because there's a lot of stuff that we'll need to be talking about. And Britcast is really going to gain some momentum when, obviously, we're going to be riding the new generation all the way. And then I mentioned that we're going to LA as well for E3 2014.
Indeed, and hopefully we'll see some peeps there.
1 or 2. We've arranged to meet a few people.
Yep.
Which is all good stuff.
Indeed.
Yeah. But there we have it then, really. I can't really say much about Microsoft because all we could do is I could just quote the endless stories that I wrote down. I was actually laughing when I wrote them and just thought, you know what, these individual stories are just crazy. And I've had people say to me, I've had quite a few people say to me, the new PlayStation's shaping up to be the one. But what do you know about the other one?
Yeah,
you know nothing. Yeah, so you just wait to be like at least objective when you've got the points of both of them in front of you. But to be honest with you, the graphical power is going to be the difference between the PlayStation and the Xbox. A lot of the games are ports anyway, let's be honest.
Yes.
So they kind of almost always look the same. There's problems on both consoles with certain games that are ported over. Both of the ones that when they have their sole IPs just for the Xbox ones and like the Uncharted and the Halos, they always look fantastic on whatever console they're meant to be on.
Yeah.
And I think graphical power will be marginal because nobody really people do spot the difference, sort of treading on the minefield here. But these consoles are old now. They've still got maybe a tiny little bit of juice. I suspect the PlayStation's got more juice to unlock in it than what the Xbox can do now.
I can hear the flames of the fanboys roaring.
Well, it's true.
It is true. It's just a fact.
Yeah, the PlayStation has got more power to be unlocked. I mean, The Last of Us is looking pretty impressive.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Can't wait. June, isn't it?
Yeah, E3 week that launches.
That is a good week.
It launches in the UK. I believe it launches the Friday. So 2 days after E3 wraps, it launches in the UK. And somebody did highlight to me that the last game that did that was Inversion. That was E3 2012. That was the game that launched E3 week, where it kind of got put out to die. So hopefully hopefully The Last of Us isn't going to be like that. I hope they're just carrying their momentum through. I
think what would be a really good stunt for Sony is if they, because it's release week, give free copies to everyone in the press conference.
That would be good. I bet they don't.
Sony, take the hint. Give us a job.
Really? You're still pushing for that one, are you?
Indeed, I am. Might as well.
Fair play. But that's it. This has kind of like been a bit of a ranty episode, hasn't it, to be
It's good
fair?
though.
Yeah, we've sort of like talked a little bit about games and a little bit of speculatism. We've attacked the fanboys. That'll get the haters hating
Good.
and that sort of stuff. But Luke, do you want to tell people how they can get in contact with us?
Indeed, I will. You can get in touch with us. Twitter is at Britcast. Very simple. You can get in touch with Dave at Remedy Live. At Remedy Live. Go talk too fast. And then at YouGamers for me. And then if you want to email, if you want to go all old school and 90s, it is britcast007@gmail.com. And there will be a Facebook page coming soon.
There we go. And on a final note before we go, one of our kind of backroom staff at Pat Live, we've mentioned him before. Us guys over at Britcast, heartfelt sorry for your loss, my friend.
Indeed.
Backroom guy that helps me do a lot of stuff with the games that we bring to the show. Actually lost his pups this week. And I'm there for you, brother, whenever you need me. And like I say, just passing on my condolences.
Same here.
Yeah. So, but we will be back very soon. Well, it'll be about 7 days, really, won't it?
Yes.
We'll be back.
Then I'm off to the land of Poutine, eh?
Yeah. And then you bugger off to go and meet some of the other guys that you work in the industry with.
The other guy.
Over in Canada to do a few bits and pieces there. It's a prelude trip over the waters.
Yes, it's my first flight abroad. And I googled the airline and where I was going. Google images, and the first picture was a plane in flames. So that's a good start.
That's it. So after next week's show, I may be trying to hire another co-host. So
after Luke's ashes are scattered across Canada.
Yeah, if Luke is spread out all over a runway in Canada or lost in the Atlantic, I'll be looking for a new co-host. So applications, roll them in.
Send by Twitter, or will be ignored.
Yeah.
Good times.
And send to my Twitter, not Luke's, for obvious reasons, because if he's lying on a runway in flames, then he's probably not going to be tweeting most of the day. Yeah.
Other handle devices are all available.
That's it, yeah. But that's it. Thank you for listening, and we will return next week.
Toodles.